everyone, thank you very much for stopping by and returning to the old world. Now, I've been thinking a little bit recently about what would be fun things to appear in an arcane journal. I was working on the basis that the latest installment, the Warfare Cetra's Fury, was going to be the last thing that we see for quite some time. But then today, we get the somewhat surprising news, at least to me, that there is going to be another Arcane Journal coming out, and it's going to be available on pre-release pretty soon. We're looking at now, of course, at the Raising of Westerland. So this did come as a little bit, as I say, of a surprise. So what is it that we're going to get in this rulebook? Well, coincidentally, as one of the things I was thinking about, wouldn't it be fun to have in an Arcane Journal, is delve a little bit more into the forces of chaos, maybe something a bit more infantry based, maybe something around the warriors of chaos. But I have really been preempted being able to do a video on that because we've actually got something official coming out, and it is Marauder based. Bit different, looks like it's leaning into that Wolves of the Sea sort of thing. So what are we getting? Obviously in the style of the Arcane Journals post the release of, Cathay. This looks like it's going to be more of a narrative drive, so it's explaining a bit more about Norska and what's going on with Friedel, the Chainmaker's invasion of Westerland. However, that's not all. We are getting some extra gubbins, so we're getting rules for the 4 cults of chaos. We're getting some Celtic traits, some lore of the Shadowlands, so that sounds like it could be a magical lore, given as it talks around this being part of the new rules. And we're also getting some new artifacts of the Shadowlands, which leans into we're getting a different twist on that Wolves of the Sea vibe. And as if that's not interesting enough, what we're also getting is a Path to Glory campaign for a 500-point army, with 3 scenarios that are themed around Marauders. Now, we are going to need the Arcane Journal War of Cetra's Fury in order to use these rules, along with Ravening Hordes, Warriors of Chaos. Now, I think if you're buying this book, you probably already have the Ravening Hordes book for the main Warriors of Chaos stuff, but you might not have gone into Cetra's Fury for this 500 to 750 point force. Now, Path to Glory has a long and, glorious history when it comes to Warhammer. There's been some really fun things, rules coming out in White Dwarf, etc. back in the day to enable you to really tell a story through the gathering of your force. And I think it's a great way, actually, if you're starting a new army, to get into the Warriors of Chaos before expanding it out to that full 2,000 point force. Now, I doubt it will be, but I hope it will be rules that can be fairly easily adapted. It will be great to see clubs being able to run a Path to Glory campaign where not everyone has to be Chaos, but could be able to pick up stuff from other factions with a little bit of jiggery-pokery. Now, I know that's not for everybody. I know some people are really dead against house ruling stuff, but I think for a fun campaign it could be quite interesting. So overall, I think this Arcane Journal, Games Workshop, it's just a case of letting them take my money. Now, the book isn't the only thing that we're going to see. We're also getting a Chaos Marauder reinforcement set. This does seem to be a bit of a new thing, these reinforcement sets. We saw them for the Tomb Kings. It's a different way of packaging, slightly different combination of units, so you get a bit of a bulk purchase. Now, I don't know how much these guys are going to cost at this point and whether they're going to offer decent value for money. I suspect, in the spirit of all things box set, that they will be a little bit cheaper than buying things piecemeal. But what we are seeing is some brand new sculpts, and in the box we're going to be getting 40 Chaos Marauders and 10 Marauder Horsemen, so no characters here, but I'm sure it would be not too difficult with a bit of a paint job or maybe a mild conversion to make one of the models, two of the models, into something that would more closely resemble a character if you wanted to do something straight out of the box. Now it comes to the numbers. I think 10 Marauder Horsemen is a really good number. A couple of units of 5 is probably what you're wanting from a light horse perspective. If you're looking to beef them up, then 10's a good size number to go in and mess something up. So I think that's a good number of horsemen. I think if you're looking at a Marauder type army, and let's face it, if you're buying the box, that's exactly what you're doing. 10 is going to be a really good number. As for the 40 Chaos Marauders, interesting. I think a single unit of 40 is unlikely. A unit of 20 might feel a little bit small. So it might well be that if you're buying into this and looking for maybe a couple of decent sized blocks of infantry, that you'll be wanting to buy a few more of these guys to expand out your units to give you those blocks. What it does do, hopefully, however, is equip you guys with a range of weapons. So we're told each set of 20 can be made into 2 sets of 10 each with full command. So there's a lot of command options here. That's great for the bits box. And they're going to have enough weapon options to outfit your regiments with either hand weapon and shields, great weapons, or flails. So I think even if you're not going to use all 40 at the same time, if you built them with a range of weaponry, you could use that in your front ranks to represent what the whole unit has. So you can have a unit that's a bit of a mixed bag of weapons, using the models in the front rank or two to really show your opponent what they are equipped with. From a cinematic perspective, actually, I think having a range of weapons will also probably look quite good. If we look at the pictures we see of the models themselves, when compared to the, I want to say, 6th edition Marauder troops that we've got access to already, these guys look absolutely incredible. They just so look the part, it is untrue. Now, I've recently painted up a load of Rust Vikings. Partly I was going to use them as alternative sort of mercenary greatsword types for my Empire force, but I'd also got an idea that maybe they would work out also as barbarian types for a future Warriors of Chaos project. And I have to say that thought process I'm really starting to regret. I know these models are not going to be cheap, but they just look absolutely amazing, and with the promise of interchangeability with the weapons and which models they which bodies they go on, I do think you're going to be able to get some really cool stuff. So I might sadly feel that I have to pivot and once again say, Games Workshop, just take my money. It's not just the infantry that look cool, these cavalry look absolutely amazing. They're slightly bigger, slightly bulkier, I think, or maybe that's just the way the pictures work. So it's perhaps a bit more in scope with some of the, say, Age of Sigmar size of some models, which look like they are a little bit more dynamic, a little bit beefier. But yeah, overall, these models look absolutely amazing. This is Games Workshop absolutely knocking it out of the park. So well done to them for that. And really for setting me a difficult question of what do I do with these. I'm not going to get anything now model-wise because my pledge is paint everything I buy in the year. There is no way on earth, if I buy 50 models now, that when added to the box of stuff to do so far, I'm going to get it all done. So I will be holding off on those miniatures, but I think absolutely guaranteed I'm going to be getting that book from somewhere. So I'm really excited about this. I think it's taken me by surprise. It looks like it's going to be a really interesting book and something I'm definitely going to try and get my hands on. So tell me, are you excited about this one? Do you think it's a good release? Do you like the direction of travel that the Arcane Journals are now starting to take? Let me know down in the comments below. I might not respond necessarily to all of them, but I do read the comments. So do whack them down there. All that remains for me to say is I hope you've found this video interesting. I hope you've enjoyed it. I am returned to the old world. Have a great day.